ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. In a question of ours, we're going to commemorate Shavuot. What is Shavuot? Shavuot is the time when the first fruits were presented in the Beit HaMikdash. The name of that is called Bikurim. And there was a whole process, there was a narrative that had to accompany the presentation of the first fruits. But according to our oral tradition, even though it's not mentioned in the Torah, Shavuot is the anniversary of when Moses received the Ten Commandments and the Torah on Mount Sinai. Therefore, it is actually, one could argue, the most important holiday in the Jewish calendar. Because without the Torah, without the commandments, we're not Jews. Those are the stripes that make the tiger. Those are the characteristics that differentiate us as the Jewish people. When is Shavuot celebrated? It is celebrated 7 weeks after the second day of Passover, of Pesach. You start counting 7 weeks equal to 49 days, and on the 50th day, you celebrate Shavuot. But there is no specific date in the Torah. Why not? Maybe the Torah had a purpose in not giving us a specific date. I even thought at one time, why didn't God wait until our ancestors entered the land of Israel to give them the Torah in the promised land? Then you would see a tremendous link between the Jewish people, the promised land, and the Torah. But if one takes into account the fact that a few days after receiving the Torah, our ancestors suddenly built a golden calf. It would have been terrible to build a golden calf in the land of Israel. Maybe it was better that they did it in the desert. Or maybe something altogether different. You know, many people have tried to identify which is Mount Sinai in the desert of Sinai. And there are several mountains that are candidates to be denominated Sinai. We don't know for sure. Maybe the idea is there is no date to tell you that the Torah is valid at all times. You can't look at a container and see when it was manufactured and has a validity of 6 months, of 2 years. There is no such thing. No certificate of origin. This is eternal. It is good for all times. Maybe the Ten Commandments and all the laws of the Torah should be observed in the land of Israel. No. They were given in no man's land to tell you that they are valid all over. In any place that you find yourself, you have to live according to the Ten Commandments, according to the Torah. But I think of the Ten Commandments of the Torah basically as a democratic manifesto. You have to bear in mind that the Jews had just left Egypt. Who was the ruler of Egypt? There was a king. He was called Pharaoh. But Pharaoh wasn't only a king, he was also a demigod. He was a god. You had to worship Pharaoh. Comes the Ten Commandments and tells us, no, there is no human being you have to worship. The only one you worship is the Lord, God who created the world. But the human beings that are inserted into the above the land, all are equal. We all have to observe the Ten Commandments. There is a very interesting law according to the Torah. The king had to write a separate Torah for himself. In addition to the one that everyone had to write, he had to write a special one. He was a constitutional king. He was not a person who could do whatever he wanted. He was limited. He had to be governed by the laws contained in the Torah. And I think it's a very important concept when we think of how we are living in revolutionary times. You know, change is really what is stable in today's society. From one day to the next, there is something new. When you buy the latest gadget, you know you're buying last year's gadget because a new one is already in production. New things happen all the time, yet there are basic things that remain the same. The Ten Commandments says, thou shalt not covet. Envy is no good. Wanting to have what somebody else has is no good. To give false testimony is terrible. And we know that today, with the different means that we have, the different facilities that we have, to give false testimony maybe would be the order of the day. And the Bible comes and tells you, you cannot do that. So therefore I think that even though we are changing at a tremendous pace, we're only changing superficially. It is only the instruments that are changing. But the basic composition of the human being, his wants, his desires, remain sort of permanent. And the Ten Commandments are just as important today as they were thousands of years ago when they were first enunciated, and they're going to be as important in the future as well. Make sure that you live by the spirit of the Ten Commandments, by the mitzvot contained in the Torah.